long-term relationship. Thank you to the St. Austin Center. I'm honored to stand among all of these heroes and champions for survivor safety today. All of you who are here today, but I also want to acknowledge a person who is not here today who has been instrumental in this safety planning campaign, and that is Celinda Guerra, who is our Director of Hotline and Crisis Intervention. She could not be with us today, but we hold her in our hearts. My name is Sonia Corrales, and I serve as Deputy CEO at the Houston Area Women's Center. The Houston Area Women's Center has been providing services and supporting survivors for 46 years, and it's been our mission for that long. It's work that I personally have done for 31 of those years. When I first came to Houston in 1992, I started as an outreach counselor at the Houston Area Women's Center, and I started as an outreach counselor in this very community. And back then, the Houston community, the Hispanic community, was about 27% of the population. Today, we are 44% of the Houston community. And we are incredibly diverse. We are diverse in history, we are diverse in culture, we are diverse in traditions, religion, race, language, including dialects, that we hear, and those who speak and do not speak Spanish, and that's very important to recognize. HAWC has been on the front lines of offering safety and providing comprehensive life-saving services to survivors of domestic, sexual violence, and trafficking. Our services are multicultural, they're multilingual, they're free, they're confidential, and they're available to everyone. We offer services in three main areas, and that is crisis response, survivor empowerment, and we believe in centering prevention in order to create safer communities. We want to be able to close our doors one day. We know that domestic violence takes many forms, including emotional, financial, religious, physical, and sexual abuse, and it impacts 1 out of every 3 Latinas. And according to the Texas Council on Family Violence, their Honoring Texas Victims 2021 report, of the 204 Texans that were killed, 46 of them were from Harris County. And we know that domestic violence leads to homicide. We also know that there's opportunities to intervene, that domestic violence didn't start that day that that person lost their life, that it's a cycle, it escalates, and it can turn deadly. That is why safety planning and assessing lethality are critical. They're so critical. And we know domestic violence is a public health crisis that impacts everyone. It crosses all socioeconomic, religious, and cultural lines. That's important to note, and that's important to say. We also know that it disproportionately impacts women and women of color from communities harmed by historical and ongoing oppression. As a result, Hispanic survivors often do not seek help and face barriers when they attempt to leave. Immigrant survivors in particular often experience severe abuse when they arrive and exceedingly vulnerable due to fear of deportation and language limitations. Now, over the decades of working with Hispanic survivors, the Houston Area Women's Center recognizes the complexities and barriers associated with this diverse community. And we are committed to continuously improving our culturally relevant services. At the Houston Area Women's Center, 42% of our staff identify as Hispanic or Latino, and 60% of those are bilingual. That is success. We must center the voice of the community and be proactive and responsive to the structural inequities Latina survivors experience, and acknowledge that the intersection of race and gender bias leads to increased victimization. Domestic abuse impacts all of us, and it's preventable. But we cannot do this alone. We are all of us are part of the solution. It is through authentic collaboration that we can advance long-term safety, behavioral health, financial and housing stability for survivors. We are grateful to the St. Austin Center for agreeing to collaborate with us and for allowing us this space to be able to provide those life-saving services. The St. Austin Center is one of 4 hubs at the Houston Area Women's Center. Please visit HAWC.org and learn more about the various forms of domestic abuse and sexual assault, and how you can support survivors to increase their safety through safety planning. I also invite you to talk more openly about the impact of domestic abuse, reduce the shame by believing survivors and supporting survivors. We are all part of the solution to end violence. El abuso doméstico puede tomar varias formas, que incluyen la violencia física, sexual, emocional, psicológica, económica, espiritual y el acoso, y puede terminar en homicidio, como lo hemos visto aquí en la ciudad de Houston. Sabemos que hay oportunidades para intervenir y el abuso doméstico aumenta. No comenzó ese día que la persona perdió su vida. La planificación de seguridad y la evaluación de letalidad son fundamentales. El abuso doméstico es una crisis pública que afecta a todos y cruza todas las líneas socioeconómicas, religiones y culturales. Sabemos que afecta de manera desproporcionadamente a mujeres y a las mujeres de color de las comunidades perjudicadas por la opresión historial y actual. Esto resulta en sobrevivientes latinas a menudo no buscan ayuda y enfrentan barreras cuando intentan huir. Sobrevivientes inmigrantes pueden sufrir abusos severos cuando llegan y son más vulnerables debido al temor a la deportación y las limitaciones del idioma. Durante las décadas de trabajando con sobrevivientes latinas, el Centro de Mujeres del área de Houston reconoce las barreras asociadas con esta comunidad diversa y estamos comprometidos a mejorar nuestros servicios. En el Centro de Mujeres, el 42% del personal se identifica como latino o hispano y casi el 60% somos bilingües. Sabemos que debemos centrar las voces de la comunidad y ser proactivos y responder a las barreras que enfrentan las sobrevivientes latinas. Y reconocer que la intersección de los prejuicios raciales y de género acaban más en victimización. El abuso doméstico nos afecta a todos y se puede prevenir, pero no podemos hacerlos solos. Todos somos parte de la solución. Es a través de una colaboración auténtica que podemos promover la seguridad a largo plazo. Estamos agradecidos con este centro de St. Austin por la colaboración y por dejarnos venir a proveer los servicios que van a ayudar a las personas en esta comunidad. Visite nuestra página hawc.org y aprenda sobre las diversas formas que usted puede ayudar a una persona que es sobreviviente. Muchas gracias. And now I'm going to invite our good friend, Greg Compian, a champion also of survivor safety.
Good morning. My name is Gregory Compian, and I'm a business owner here in the East End, and I'm honored to be here this morning. I was looking for an agency to support that would create a legacy for our family and also give back to our community. And supporting this cause, you know, the Houston Area Women's Center is able to provide safety to survivors and save lives. And in the profession that I serve, it was a good fit. And unfortunately, the impact that I see on a daily basis that this has. So, but it's going to take all of us. So I'm here. I reached out to a couple of friends, and within a couple of minutes, I was able to raise $30,000. One of my good friends, Greg Reyes, with Raytech Construction. But the work has just begun, and this is something that we want to stay behind, and we want to work hard and get other people, and I want other people in our community to get behind this cause. There's plenty of business people like myself and Mr. Reyes that can be part of this and champion this, because it's going to take a lot of money. And the more money we raise, the Houston Area Women's Center is able to expand their services. And I'm very glad that they have this new facility here in the East End of Houston. And it's good that we're going to get the notice out to let people know that the facilities are here and they're here to serve. And I want to thank my good friend Greg Reyes. Without a doubt, he jumped in. But I want to challenge other friends of ours that are out there listening to get involved in this. This is a great cause. It affects everyone, socioeconomically involved, ethnicities and what have you. And I'm just so proud to be a part of this and stay a part of this. And thank y'all for being here this morning.
Just a message to all, just getting started. This is a tremendous cause, and you've got to get involved. This is something that our community, unfortunately, we have these issues, but it's going to take successful folks who have the ability to do and to contribute and to help to do their part. And I just want to make sure that people understand and know that.
Amen. Thank you.
Good morning. Buenos dias. I'm Ed Gonzalez, the Harris County Sheriff, and first want to thank St. Austin Center for hosting us this morning. It's great to see the collaboration, and we hope that continues. That's my first point. Next, I want to thank two business titans, two friends, two mentors for their financial support and lending their names to this important cause. You already heard from them, Gregory Reyes and Gregory Compian as well. Both great business leaders, personal friends of mine that are always there to support. And I think it's important because I think we need to increase Latino awareness around these issues. Too often these topics are taboo. We don't talk about them. We keep them inside the family, but it's alive and well. One of my early memories in this profession was being a rookie cop for the Houston Police Department and beginning my career here in the East End community and serving this very district where we now sit in. It was 11H10 speed back then. And one of the first calls that I ever responded to was, of course, a domestic violence situation. And it became a frequent call for service that we would respond to here in this community. And I wish I could tell you with any level of confidence that that was a thing of the past, but it continues to be alive and well all over, not only in this community, but beyond. And we're often in the front lines, and these situations are both the most challenging and traumatic that we respond to as law enforcement officers. And what's so alarming is to see the increase in the number of murder-suicides that we see. I have personally been on these scenes myself, now as a police executive, formerly responding to those calls for service, and I've seen the impact on the families and my own personnel and first responders that make these scenes. These type of situations, these incidents impact the entire community. Everyone's impacted. Children are displaced without parents. It impacts workforce because now lives have been disrupted. It even impacts neighbors because their community is turned upside down, and sometimes they too become victims of the violence as well just because they happen to live next door or they run over to try to assist. So we are always in that thick of the crisis. And law enforcement has always been there to answer the call and address the immediate threat. But I want to emphasize that we only address the immediate threat. We all have resources internally, but it really isn't our wheelhouse. And that's why we depend on valuable partners such as the Houston Area Women's Center, HAWC, to be able to help rebuild the lives, help lead the families forward in that time of crisis, to help get them to the other side. And so it's critical to have them in our community, and we're so fortunate to have such an incredible organization. Thank you, Emily, to everyone that's involved, because we couldn't do it without you. I have personally talked to people that have received services from HAWC, and they always tell me how HAWC has been that guiding light to get them to that other side. You know, just a personal anecdote that I could share with you. I'm very proud that I was once a board member with the Houston Area Women's Center, now part of their advisory group. And one evening I was leaving, or one afternoon I was leaving a meeting there at the HAWC facility, at the HAWC main office. And as I was walking at the main doorway, just by chance, I ran into a friend. And I didn't connect the two right away, but I said, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on?" And I explained that I was leaving from the board meeting, or a board meeting. And then she kind of started crying, and she said, I'm here to get services. And it never dawned on me that somebody I knew that had everything together had been impacted in her whole life because of intimate partner violence. And HAWC was able to assist her get through a lot of that process. She's now reached that other side, and she's thriving. She's doing well. That trauma's still there. She could have lost her life in that incident. But you never know when it's going to impact someone that you know, someone that you love. It happens in our community, and that's why we all need to do our part, whether it be those that have the financial resources and have the reach to reach other business people in our community, maybe policymakers like myself, those in law enforcement, the community partners like HAWC. It really takes a community to make sure that we send a resounding message that this is not acceptable, this is not allowed, this is against the law, and someday we want to put a stop to it. And that's why we all need to make sure we're working together. But again, especially in the Latino community, because we gotta stop that taboo that exists. We gotta stop sometimes the machismo that's so sometimes embedded in our culture. Yes, it's important for us to talk about those things that may be uncomfortable, but we must all do our part, and we've got to continue to support organizations such as HAWC, because safety planning saves lives, and that's where they're front and center. You could go to their website, hawc.org, and research. There's a lot of resource information there for safety planning. You could also call 713-528-2121, and get this, you could call 24/7 to get information and get direct access to a real person on the other side of the phone that will help you in making your safety plan either before, during, or after you've been impacted. And that's so critical because it could really, really make a huge difference for your family. And so we want to encourage you to do that. They could help you find shelter. They could help you connect you to other or counseling, other resources that are out there. And again, it's 24/7. And so we need to make sure we're raising more information about that because if you suspect anyone in your family that's being impacted by domestic abuse, help them get help, because we don't want to be out there at another scene where it's another murder, suicide, or somebody lost their life, because we see it far too often. Briefly in Spanish, just want to say that estamos aquí esta mañana para primeramente darle gracias a HAWC por todos los servicios que entregan a la comunidad ya por décadas que están apoyando. Nosotros como oficiales de policía hemos visto estos incidentes y siguen pasando en nuestra comunidad, especialmente en la comunidad de habla hispana, y tenemos que hablar más sobre estos temas. Muchas veces no hablamos en nuestras propias familias, pero sí existen en nuestras comunidades también. Yo he visto personalmente, he ido a estas escenas donde personas han perdido su vida por el abuso doméstico. Y es importante que tratamos de parar eso, darle alto a eso, y también anunciar que hay muchos servicios. Puede marcar al 713-528-2121, 24 horas. Este centro de mujeres ayuda a coordinar o cómo ayudarle a diseñar un plan de seguridad para que se pueda proteger si ustedes han sido impactados por abuso doméstico, o si piensa que en algún futuro puede ser víctima. Es importante comenzar a prepararse ahora. Entonces, algo que queremos anunciar. And also, again, I'd be remiss not to invite everyone to the upcoming HAWC Believe Luncheon. I'll be one of the guest speakers, by the way. But that's Wednesday, April 5th, and sorry for the plug, but I, as a former board member, it's just embedded in me, and I'm always going to advocate for HAWC. And so just want to thank everyone. Jessica, the board chair, I know it's going to be a terrific event, so thank you for being here as well. And, we could all make a difference if we work together. And again, thank you, Greg, and both Gregs for being here. Councilmember Gallego is my former colleague, and just really appreciate everyone from being here. And I guess just to end, remember, HAWC listens, they support, and they answer the call. So it's important for us to continue to raise awareness about this critical issue, and let's put a stop to domestic abuse. And next, I would like to call up a very courageous person, a survivor, somebody that could share her personal testimony about the impacts of domestic abuse, but not only the impacts of domestic abuse, but also the way to move forward from that and to continue to be a light for the community. And she told me earlier, it's important that we raise awareness for others because they may not be hearing that message yet. So please help me welcome a very courageous survivor, Jessica. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Buenos dias. I want to say thank you all, for having me here and giving me this great opportunity. Well, my name is Jessica Flores. I was married to a man who said he loved me, and over time he began abusing me. He sexually abused me. He would coerce me to have sex when I did not want to. He called me vulgar names, words. He physically abused me, and he also abused my cat. He threw my cat away just to hurt me emotionally, psychologically. He will threaten to call immigration to have me deported. He will tell me he had the white power and that nobody would touch him. Because he was white. And many times I did not call the police because I was very, very scared. When I finally decided to leave him, he brutally beat me up. I had to go to the hospital for my injuries. I'm sorry, this is hard for me. Excuse me. And there is much more about my story, but I don't have time to tell you all of it today. I'll tell you that I found help at the Houston Area Women's Center. I have met other women in my counseling support group who have experienced abuse like me. And like most of them, I did not know that there was a place that I will get help, you know. For most women, I did not know that when you leave a relationship, it's the most hard part because you don't have a safety plan. That was my case. And safety planning, it is not just something for survivors like me. It's something anyone can learn. With this information, you could help your neighbor, you could help your friend, your daughter, your coworker, or anyone in your community. Thank you. Buenos días a todos y gracias por darme la oportunidad de hablar en este lugar. Estuve casada con un hombre que me decía que me amaba mucho, que al pasar del tiempo él empezó a ser abusivo conmigo. Me abusaba sexualmente, obligándome a tener relaciones sexuales cuando yo no quería. Me decía malas palabras, me llamaba perra, me abusó físicamente y también abusó físicamente a mi gato. Y luego lo botó solo para herirme, física, emocionalmente. Él me amenazaba con llamar a la inmigración para deportarme. Me decía que él tenía el poder porque él es americano, blanco, y que por eso nadie lo iba a tocar. Y muchas veces no le hablé a la policía por el miedo. Tenía mucho miedo. Cuando al fin decidí dejarlo, él me golpeó brutalmente. Tuve que ir al hospital para atender mis heridas. Hay mucho más de mi historia, pero no tengo tiempo de contarlo todo el día de hoy. Lo que sí digo es que encontré ayuda en el Centro de Mujeres de Houston. Muchos conocemos esta organización como el Centro de Mujeres de Houston, pero algunas no tienen la suficiente idea. O sea, no entienden, sí han escuchado, pero no entienden de qué se trata el programa. Cuando al fin decidí dejar a mi ex, él me abusó brutalmente. Tuve que ir al hospital para curar todo lo que él me dejó en mi cuerpo, físicamente, psicológicamente. Hay mucho más de mi historia, pero no hay tiempo el día de hoy. He conocido otras mujeres en mi grupo de consejería y apoyo que han tenido la experiencia de abuso similar al mío. E igual que ellas no sabían un lugar que me apoyara y podían ayudarme a hacer un plan de escapar del abuso y mantener mi seguridad. No sabía que el tiempo más peligroso para una mujer abusada es cuando tratan de escapar del abusador. Y por eso tenemos que tener un plan de seguridad y saber planear un escape seguro. No es solamente para sobrevivientes como yo, Es algo que todos pueden aprender. Con esta información puedes ayudarle a tu vecina, a tu amiga, a tu compañera de trabajo o a cualquier persona de tu comunidad. Gracias, you all. Gracias, muchas gracias. Thank you, you all.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. Let me start off by thanking the sheriff, thanking Mr. Compian and Greg Reyes for your support for the center here. Thank you all so very much. I want to start by acknowledging and thanking the Houston Area Women's Center, its board, staff, volunteers, and its wonderful donors. For over 46 years, the Houston Area Women's Center has been uplifting women and survivors of domestic violence. This is unfortunately much needed service in the city of Houston. But I'm glad to know that such a great organization like the Women's Center is here to support, advocate for, and empower survivors. It truly is a beacon of hope for so many. And today, I want to emphasize the importance of their work here in the Hispanic community. According to the CDC, nearly 35% of Hispanic women say they've been experienced domestic violence at some point in their lives. That's more than 1 in 3 women. In our area, nearly half of the Women's Center's client base is Hispanic. And unfortunately, unique barriers in the Hispanic community, language, immigration status, and financial dependence far too often leave victims feeling hopeless and trapped. But I'm here to tell women and victims of abusive relationships there is hope. You are not alone. You are worthy and you do matter. The journey to leave an abusive relationship may be challenging, but know there are trustworthy organizations like the Women's Center that can help guide you through the steps to long-term independence and security. Let me also offer these remarks in Spanish. El abuso doméstico nunca es el culpa de la víctima. No eres responsable y no mereces estar en una relación abusiva. Tú importas, tú estás sola, no estás sola. Dejar una relación abusiva es una decisión muy personal, pero todos los sobrevivientes se benefician de tener personas de confianza durante este proceso. Y organizaciones como el Centro de Mujeres del Área de Houston tienen personas de confianza que hablan español y que te pueden ayudar. Tienen recursos como los que se ofrecen en el Centro St. Austin para apoyar a los sobrevivientes a la búsqueda de su seguridad y felicidad. Thank you all, and now it's my pleasure to introduce the Houston Area Women's Center President and CEO, Emily Whitehurst.
Jessica, I want to start by thanking you. Your testimony, I feel sure I told you earlier, is going to save lives. It's so courageous, and we are deeply grateful for your presence here today.
Thank you.
I want to thank Councilmember Gallegos and Sheriff Gonzalez for being here, for your dedication and service for championing survivors. We truly couldn't do this work without you. We did expect Commissioner Garcia, but we just heard he's not able to attend. But he, too, is a huge champion of survivors and of the Houston Area Women's Center. Mr. Compeon, Mr. Reyes, wow. Thank you so much. We at the Houston Area Women's Center work every day, 24 hours, and it means a lot to have a business community leaders who are so well respected in their community give us their confidence and their funds and to promise a partnership for the duration of our work. We are truly grateful, and I consider you pioneers in a moment where it could not be more important for the business sector to begin to talk openly about domestic violence. So thank you so, so much. Sheriff Garcia mentioned our Believe Luncheon tomorrow. We named that luncheon Believe because we believe survivors, and we believe that we can end this crisis. We know for sure we will only end it through collaboration with government, business, and the nonprofit sector, and that's what we're up to today. Sheriff Garcia also mentioned this alarming spike in violence. Sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, gringas. Sheriff Gonzalez, sorry. Also mentioned this alarming spike in violence that we're facing, and I want to let you know that the Houston Area Women's Center is up to big things. We are tripling our residential capacity. We're building a new facility, and as you've heard, we have now established 4 neighborhood survivor empowerment hubs. We really believe that the scaling up of our organization's services is going to play a pivotal role in turning the tide on the spike in violence in this Houston area region. It's important that survivors know where to go for help, that they know when they reach out they'll be believed, that they can call anytime, and they can reach a bilingual advocate, and that's what we are up to at the Houston Area Women's Center. Please get the word out about safety planning. In another life, I was a pastor, and we often do a call and response in the church. So I'm going to do this with you, and I need you to play along. So I'm going to say safety planning, and y'all are going to say saves lives. And if you don't do it loud enough, we're going to keep doing it. Because this is the main thing I need you to take away. That, and we always can use money. Money, money, money. You can take that away from today too. But really, I want you to do this with me. So I'm going to say safety planning saves lives. All right, here we go. Safety planning
saves lives.
Good. Safety planning
saves lives.
Safety planning
saves lives.
Learn about safety planning. Thank you. Visit our website. Donate to the Houston Area Women's Center. And join us for lunch. And there's something else I'm supposed to say. The luncheon is next Wednesday, not tomorrow. That's a relief to everybody, especially the development team. It's April 5th. Today is not April 4th. So next week. But the main thing is we believe survivors. That was the segue there with that luncheon. Okay, so just to make sure we end this on a top note, let's do it one more time. Safety planning
saves lives.
Thank you so much.